Welcome back to Sway TV. I'm your host JJ here on Amazon Live, and I'm so excited!
We're gonna have some fun on the street.
And we love Amazon Live, and we're so excited to be part of Sway TV.
Get curious! Get curious!
Look what my little mama gets to ride!
What do we do here on Sway TV? We shop.
I am so excited to welcome you to our brand new outdoor set.
Yo, suit up!
Inhale. I literally just inhaled a fly. It's the most hilarious thing that has ever happened to me on live Amazon television.
Would you like to be Sway TV host?
Yes! Here we go, here we go.
Mark says, I thought I changed your life. Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
I'm a fan of gratitude.
We made history here on Amazon Live. Would you ask her out again?
I just got like goosebumps.
So thank you for inspiring us here at Sway TV, Clay.
Would you ever want to be a shark on Shark Tank?
Yes, because I think there's a lot to be said for people helping other people.
Oh my goodness, we're having a little fire here.
Michael says, Shayla, I love you and your shows.
How did you do this?
So many giveaways here at Sway TV. Money, big money, big money, big money, big money. I'm ready to battle shop live. Yeah! This is fun. And one person's gonna win a PS5. Which one will it be?
Everyone is holding their breath.
I have our winner.
I'm so excited, I can't even stand it.
I cannot make this up.
We are awarding you with the PS5 as well.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
2, 1.
Talk to all your friends and your family. Let them know about Sway TV.
Sway TV is here to stay. Thank you, Amazon.
Thank you, Sway TV.
Shop attainment all the time.
'Tis the season of the comfy.
We in the house, we having fun, we doing the thing, we swaying.
2 thumbs up, woo!
Sway TV #1, baby.
Here we go for you!
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's go, let's sway, stay tuned! Woo! Hello everyone, welcome back to Sway TV. I am your host, Kimmy Seltzer, bringing you live each week my show, Kimmy's Love Hub. And if you are new to me, new to the show, this is a show all about dating, relating, most of all love, and that's love for you. Because when you love you, that's when other people do too. So let's get into it. Let's see who is here. I see a lot of people on. If you know me and you're just joining me and you have tuned in each week, say hello. I want to see who you are. And by the way, if this is your first time here, you'll definitely want to click the follow button, because once you do that, you will be able to interact with me. And the show just gets better and better every time you interact with me. And you'll even get a chance to call in if you want to. So I love the interaction. That's when the show gets really juicy and good, because we talk about a lot of stuff here, especially in relation to dating and relationships. So if you don't know me, again, my name is Kimmy Seltzer. I am a dating strategist, a confidence therapist, and an image expert. So what does that all mean? It means that I do a lot, and I have this holistic approach in helping you all look and feel your best so that you attract what you want. And I work from the outside in. Now I know that sounds a little strange. People are like, outside in? Here's the thing. I used to work from the inside out, and as a therapist for many, many years, I believed that you had to work on the inside in order to attract love, in order to break patterns. But I have flipped the script, and the reason I do is because I believe that when you pay attention to how you market yourself, and that is your style, the way you move, your body language, your first impressions, that is the quickest gateway into someone's confidence. And there's a symbiotic relationship between the outer and the inner when it comes to your confidence. And so that's why I love this platform. We here at Sway TV at Kimmy's Love Hub, we combine shopping on Amazon with dating advice. I mean, this is like my dream to do this in this platform. So I often bring guests here and we talk about different things, and you're gonna love my guest today because, well, first of all, he is a really close friend. I've known him for years, but more importantly, he's really smart and he knows a lot. And what the topic is for today, and I think it's just really timely, is how do we date in real life, right? How do we date in real life now? You know, the world, depending on where you are in the world, is starting to open up, and that means we have to get used to each other again, right? And I'm hearing a lot that everyone is really excited and they want to, but then on the flip side, people are also saying, oh my God, how do I say hello to someone now? You know, because if it's been a while and you've been cooped up, especially with the pandemic, our social muscle has gotten a little atrophied, right? Is anyone feeling that? Like, it's almost like the masks have caused us also to like not even look at one another anymore. So I think now that we're getting back out there and getting used to each other again, it's one thing to say, oh yeah, like that sounds all great and I want to date again, but how do we do that, right? And here's the thing. A lot of people are telling me, well, I don't know if I'm ready. Is that you? Like, do you ever think about, oh, well, you know, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until I lose weight. I'm gonna wait until I get a new wardrobe. I'm gonna wait, whatever that is. But waiting is just an excuse. And let me tell you, the more time that goes on, the harder it becomes to put yourself out there. So if dating and flirting just sounds super scary to you right now, that is the reason why you should do it, right? Like, no one wants to do something that seems challenging or painful. Like, no one wants to go out and get a shot, right? Like, you know that that's gonna be painful, but if you know that the outcome is going to be better for you in the long run, then, you know, you do it. But like, how long do you wanna wait to do something? So that is why I am super passionate about putting people into action. That is why I call myself a dating strategist more than a coach these days, because I believe it just takes a strategy and a plan and action to break a pattern. And that's really what it's all about. So, you know, my client, she's actually one of my VIP clients, she said to me, Kimmy, I am not ready. I'm just not ready. I think I'm going to just, you know, listen to your master class that you're giving next week. And by the way, if anyone is interested in my Ultimate Flirt master class, I will tell you how you can access that. That is going to be next Wednesday, and it's for men and women, and we are going to just like jumpstart all of you, right? So here's the thing. She said to me, I'm just gonna view your class. Can I get the PDFs for it? I said, no, you cannot just get the PDFs to my flirt class. That defeats the whole purpose. Because here's the thing, flirting, if you're actually thinking about it, is then you're already doing it wrong. Because flirting's not supposed to be about planning or thinking. It's supposed to be like a spontaneous energy that just draws people to you, and that's what keeps you present. That's what keeps you playful. So if you're thinking, that means you definitely have to take a class like signing up, or that means you have to put yourself into action, because that is what is going to help you get out of this little like comfy cocoon you all have been in. So, oh, hello, I see. Hey, Sharon, nice to see you. Jennifer, hello. If you're just joining us, definitely say hello. I see a lot of people on here. Thanks for joining. You are joining Kimmy's Love Hub. Here on Sway TV, I do this every week, and we have different topics and guests. And I always end with, so by the way, I'm gonna bring my guest on in a minute, but definitely like hang on, because afterwards, I always go into what is trending in ways of fashion. This is the style piece, but in particular, your dating image, because your dating image should be different than your work image, than your COVID comfy cocoon image, from your Zoom image. Like, you have to put intention, and now is the time to get a new spring wardrobe now that we're getting out and about. So that's another way of putting yourself out there. So let's get to this. Click the follow button, because this guest that I'm bringing on, you're definitely gonna wanna talk to him, because he's super smart, super funny and creative, and someone who is near and dear to me. His name is Howie, And he has done many, many things in his life, and I'll have him tell his story. But right now, he does something that has gotten him very famous. He's all over the media talking about the Great Love Debate Show. I've been honored to be co-host and part of the show throughout the years, and now he has an amazing podcast called The Great Love Debate, which I've also been on, and he's been on my shows, and now he's here on Kimmy's Love Hub. So I'm going to bring him on, and let's welcome him. Brian, hello.
Hi. How are you?
I am good, and how are you?
I'm good. That was a very peppy intro. I like that.
Oh, well, why, thank you. Do you hear the crowds going wild?
Maybe that's important. That's good.
Well, you are important, and we have actually a lot of people watching and listening right now, so you must be really popular when they heard that Brian Howie was coming on my show. Everyone hopped on.
It comes and goes. Yes.
Yeah. So where are you right now?
I'm in Boca Raton, Florida, and it's lovely.
It's lovely. You look like you're in like a professional studio or something.
I am. I'm in the studios of Pod Populi, which is a podcast recording facility that I am a partner in, and I needed to have a fancy place to do my own podcast and a lot of others, so that's where I am. And I'm also here because we're doing some live Great Love Debate shows in the state of Florida, because the world is opening back up, and not just in Florida.
I know. Well, and the reason why I was excited to bring you on is it's funny, like throughout this whole year, I think you have been the one person where life did not stop. You know, like every time I talked to you, you were on the plane, you were doing shows still, and so, yeah.
Yeah, I traveled to 27 states during the lockdown. So I got a good perspective on what places were hopeful and what places were, wanted to take a time out from dating, and what places were, and I think, the health issues aside, let's table that for a minute. I think last year was the best thing to ever happen to dating, love dating relationships, because I think people in, 2017, 2018, 2019 sort of had a mindset that, you know what, I'm not sure I need to date. I think I'll be happy with Netflix and my bottle of wine and my dog, and I think maybe I'll just drop out of it. And what last year did, and the beginning of this year did, was it allowed people to try that theory out in real time, not by any choice of their own. And what they realized is, you know what, I do miss people. I do want to be around others. I do want the excitement of dating in real life. I do want to flirt. I do want to see people's faces. I do want all of those things. So that the crowd, so like you said, we have done some live Great Love Debate shows this year, and the pool of daters that is out there now is more enthusiastic, more hopeful, more excited than has been the case in recent memory. So if people are like, what's it going to be like to date again? It's going to be better than ever.
And I'm so excited to talk about this and also infuse some like hope and excitement into people. But I know there's a lot of new people like chiming in and they don't know who you are and what the Great Love Debate is. So can you just share a little bit about your journey in the show, of course?
The Great Love Debate is a live touring theater show. It's town hall style, where we basically try and break down the state of the date in each city. We have been to, we've done over 400 shows in over 100 cities around the world. We've been to 12 countries, and at each show, we try and determine where is the crux of the disconnect between the daters in that city. And we have done this for 7 years now. Hundreds of thousands of people have participated in the Great Love Debate. It's also a top-rated podcast that is sort of semi-related to the live show, but mostly what we do is we try and figure out where the disconnect lies, where the bodies are buried, and what we can all do better as daters and as people in relationships.
Yeah, I loved also just seeing how the show has evolved over the years, because I've been with you since the beginning, and we're
in our 8th season.
Has it been 8 seasons already? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're into our 8th season. We continue to learn more things. We continue to sort of ride the waves of various developments. Certain things affect dating. Obviously, COVID affected dating. The election affected dating. Me Too affected dating. Technology affects dating, and we have to sort of balance all those things and hear the voices of real men and women in real time, in real life. You know, a theater full of a couple hundred people who have things to say and experiences to share, and you know, mostly as you do too, we're selling hope.
Yeah.
And I think the people that are dating now and are going to be dating for the rest of this year and into the future, it's a hopeful bunch, and I think that people should be excited about that.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that I loved about the show, and because it really simulates to what I do with people, because you know, I go out there and I do these wing gal sessions and shopping sessions where I'm like working with people in real time, in real life, because to me, there isn't anything like the real thing, and that's what we've been missing this whole year. We've been like in a 2D form, right, trying to simulate real life, and now we have to, like, so it took us away from that, and now we have to get back to it. So, you know,
We've always been huge fans of getting lots of people in a room and face to face. They can't hide behind their profiles, and they can't hide behind their phones, and they can't hide. And you know, you really, you know, getting an honest dialogue and seeing reactions in real time goes so far into breaking down walls. And once you break the walls down, all sorts of possibilities are out there.
Yeah, and I just want to like stop and say, like, if you are listening, because I see a lot of eyes on here listening, and don't be shy, because this is your opportunity to ask this guy some questions, and of course, if I can help answer, I will do that as well. But you know, just chat in the box. If this is your first time, click the follow button, because that'll allow you to get into the chat if you're not familiar with this platform. And because like Brian can answer a lot of things. And in this, also what's interesting about your show is that you've traveled not only all over the United States, but you've traveled all over the world.
Yeah,
so
we have
I
done,
love that.
We've done our live show and or our podcast in Sydney and Tel Aviv and Shanghai and Hong Kong, and you know, lots of places. And you know, each city's different, each country's different, each crowd is different. You know, but the through line through all of them is it really comes down to confidence and communication. And the more we can sort of raise our collective confidence and do a better job of communicating collectively and with each other, the better the prospects are for finding what you're looking for.
Yeah. What have been some of, I mean, those are the commonalities. Is there any differences that you found in the way that people relate and date in the different areas?
Yeah, I mean, each city has its own feel, but generally what it comes down to is the women want the men to try harder, and the men want the women to make it easier. Bam. And no matter where we go, that pretty much is the crux of the disconnect. And as I said before, the women tend to look for red flags, and the men tend to look for green lights. And if we can all sort of, you know, back off our stances a little bit and try and see the perspective of the other side, for lack of a better term, the better off we are. But certain places are, you know, around the country are more hopeful. Every person wants to blame the city that they live in for the problems they have with dating, and it's not them. It's not the city. It's always somehow you. And isn't that better to know that you are responsible for the outcome and you do have control over your dating fate? And it's not just because the women are this or the men are that or this city is that. It really is about you and what you need to do and the steps you need to take and the changes you can make, and recognize that there are possibilities and opportunities around you every single day, in no matter where you are, and you have to recognize those and you have to act on them, and most importantly, you can't overlook them and you can't dismiss them.
Amen to that. You know, I always say too, and this was a big part of the show when we were doing the shows, like both men and women have responsibility and approachability. I mean, end of story, you know, and here's what I hear from my clients, because I hear like the guys are complaining about the girls because they all have the RBFs on. I can't really say that word on here, but you can figure out what that is. Most people know what that is. They have the frowny face on. Yeah. They're not like the approachable body language, right? And it's not that women aren't trying to be like a sourpuss, but it comes across that way, right? And so no man is going to approach it. And then conversely, I hear from my women that no guy is alpha enough to come up to me. Like, no one has the moxie, no one has the confidence to come up to me. So we're at a stalemate. Like, no one's meeting anybody. And now we have the pandemic and throw that in the mix. So like everyone's just kind of standing there. So like, how can we get back together, right? Like, and I know that like in the show, we encourage, and you have encouraged a lot of like the Starbucks scene and like the different things. Do you want to talk about the things you do in the show?
Well, we always say that the best dating site is Earth.
Yeah.
And that means no matter what, app you're on or what website you're on, you are never going to have more opportunities all around you that are easier to engage with than in real life, than the people around you. You have to be aware of how approachable you are, and you have to be aware of how little you approach others. And the last year we've sort of had to be in our own space and avoid each other and be masked and all that. Great. Now it's time to think, okay, as we go back out into the world and as the dating lights come back on in all, all communities.
Right, the show is like on now, right? It's true.
What did I miss? What do I want to do? Who am I looking for? What do I want to, like, we've all had a lot of time to reflect in the last 18 months too. And think about what was it about dating that you missed? Because what people do, most people who have been out on a date or met somebody new in over a year, they've forgotten a lot of the pain of it. They really now have turned the dial towards, you know what, I miss the excitement, I miss getting to know someone, I miss looking for someone, I miss the attention, I miss the physical touch, I miss all of it. And if you are missing those things, that's a good thing. And that means that part of you had positive experiences before, and you can have positive experiences again. So if you learn, the first thing we need to do with each other is just start asking questions of strangers. I think you can go up to any person anywhere and ask them a question where that question is something that if you were married, your spouse would not get mad at you. Okay? Think of a question where if you were married, so if you ask for directions, or if you're saying, hey, are they still serving the pumpkin spice latte? Don't say like, ooh, what size are those jeans? Don't say something like that. But ask questions that somebody, a regular person, would be glad to help you with. That's how we learn to engage with each other again, face to face in real time. It's how we can communicate, and we're not so, don't go up to people and say, hey, what vaccination did you have? Keep it to, I want some information and maybe you can help me. And when we start to do that again, in grocery stores, in coffee shops, in the streets, the walls that we've created around ourselves for a variety of reasons that go back even before 2020 will slowly start to come down, because we won't be afraid of other people, and we'll get more comfortable engaging with whatever it is you're looking for.
Yeah, I love that. I don't think I would ever answer the question of what size are those jeans. Like, I don't think any woman would.
And your wife or husband would get mad at you if you did that. Yeah. So, you have to think like, look for an excuse to approach somebody. And I think if you do that in a not too aggressive, not salacious way, and you're just doing it sort of human to human, that's a good place to start, and then go from there, Yeah,
and by the way, like, this isn't just in real life kind of conversation. I saw this stuff going on, online. So like when I work with clients, I go into people's Bumble accounts and Match.com accounts, and I was seeing the convos in there. So usually what's true on one modality is true in other places, right? And so the people who are having trouble in real life are also having trouble, like, just even carrying on a conversation, period, right? And so I, one of the things I love teaching, I have this whole like social engagement formula that I teach people, and it's kind of like what you're saying, is like, how do you initiate a conversation coming from a place of connection and fun and something that's light that can just get you going, but then move into something that's more personal, connected, and chemistry driven, because that's the other thing, and then that
bleeds. Be played.
Yes.
Okay? Keep it light. Don't be, and a lot of people are doing this in real life, and a lot of people are doing this online. Boy, that was some year last year, or boy, this is some. Don't go backwards, and don't lead with the negative. Lead in, I'm excited to do this again. I can't wait to do, have you ever done this? what are the places you want to go? What are the things you want to do? What have you missed out on that you're looking forward to? Not that was like, oh, I had a cruise scheduled and it was canceled. You're gonna have to put all that stuff behind you. We all had that. We all missed out. I had shows in New Zealand and Singapore. They're canceled. I don't know if they're coming back. What ones do I have? Where am I going? What am I looking forward to? And the more you can be positive in your new communications and in your connections, the more likely that person is to respond positively to whatever you're doing. You're just trying to get other people to ping pong ball back across the net. And the more we start doing that over and over and getting into a rhythm of engaging again, the more likely we are to find a connection that's going to lead somewhere.
Yeah, and you know what I love, and I don't even think you realize you did it because you're a natural, but what Brian just did in that like positive statement, I'm excited to get back to da 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 da, is he's starting with a feeling word. Do y'all notice that? That feeling words elicits some sort of passion and feeling in the listener, and you're much more likely to answer that person in that state of excitement. And that's what builds the chemistry, y'all. Like, we can talk about the weather, we can talk about like little factual stuff. That isn't what connects us. People like talking to people that elicit some sort of feeling from it. And that's really important.
Enthusiasm and passion is infectious.
Yes.
People like laughter. There's a reason why they have laugh tracks in a lot of old sitcoms and stuff. Having sound and having that feeling of humor and positivity and having a good time, that does trickle down to other people. So whatever you're putting out to the universe, if you're going, either you were always doing this, leading with your complaints or leading with your misery, or this was terrible or this was a rough year, we all know that. Let's try and shine a light on who we are and what we're looking for and what we can be again. And that's just such a positive way to go through anything that we're going to go through as we move forward.
Yes. I mean, there's a thing out there with just dating, and you're alluding to it, and it's kind of this like victim mentality, right? Or like scarcity mindset, where people, and I think this year a lot of people have fallen into that, where it's like, well, nothing's going right, so why should I even do this, kind of thing. And here's the thing, like if you continue in that path or in that mindset, that's what you'll attract. You'll attract nothing, basically. So, right? Like, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, until you put yourself out there and actually like get used to each other again in real life and say hello to the person you're in front of the line with, things aren't going to move. You'll make yourself right.
And hopefully, you've done the work, or you're looking to do the work, or you work with Kim to do the work. But as I've said, and people get a little upset when I say this because it's a little harsh, but I believe every word of it. It's never that you haven't met the right person. It's almost always that you haven't been the right person.
Bingo.
And if you look at that as, okay, that means that I am in charge, and it's about things I can do.
Yes.
Having control is just such a better way to look at it this way. Like, what can I do to take control of my dating fate and the outcome? And if you're like, the issue really has been me, either a little bit or a lot, well, you're in control of changing that. You can't change the population too much. That's a much bigger road. But what can you do to change either your attitude or your approach, or hopefully the outcome? And that's about you.
That's exactly right. I say that all the time. Well, of course, that's why we always work together. Because you cannot change the narcissist that you're always seeing. You can't change, the town that you live in unless you move. All you can do is look at you to change the result, but that is the empowerment. I do believe that too. But if you continue to believe that it's everything else and not you, then you'll make yourself true again. So I love that you just said that. Well, I just want to take a little commercial break on that note, because first of all, if you're just joining in, Justin said, that's a great point, Brian. It's really about improving myself, not changing everything around me. So yeah, like Justin, hi, by the way. I'm glad that you joined in. So yeah. I wanted to also talk about, because we're talking about putting ourselves out there and flirting as a starting point, right? And you had mentioned that too. And I think so many people have been kind of like in their head about it. You know, it's like, again, like I was saying in the beginning, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to flirt. I'm not ready to put on that dress or put myself out there. So like, I want to start with actually the show, and then I'll talk about a little bit of what I have going on. But like, I think what's so brilliant about the Great Love Debate is that it's inherently practice without telling people it's practice. Like, because you just throw people up on stage and do it, right? Like, do you want to talk a little bit about things? I know, I love it. So, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the things that you've done on the show? And because I know you've also had people like meet, right, and got married from the show.
Oh, many people. We have a lot of celebrities do the show, and basically throwing people in the deep end and letting them and everybody else take a look at what you would do in a situation. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's bad. And what does our body language look like? And how do I express myself to others? I mean, I always tell people who come to our show, if you can approach somebody in a theater full of a couple hundred people, going up to somebody at a Home Depot or a Whole Foods or Bed Bath and Beyond is a picnic. And I think that we have to, and what we encourage people to do, the thing that works the most about the Great Love Debate, I think, is people come to our shows and they believe that they're the only one who feels a certain way.
Right.
And when they leave or when the show's over, they understand that everybody feels the same way, and everybody has the same challenges, and everybody has the same fears, but also everybody has the same hopes and desires, and everybody really is looking to find that special someone. And there's a lot of comfort in that, and there's a certain solace in that, and it really makes people understand, like, we're all in this, and let's collectively try and figure out how to do better. All men are not bad, all women are not bad, the overwhelming majority are not are positive people that you want to have positive experiences with. And I think over the last 5 years, a lot of the grumpy daters, for lack of a better term, have dropped out. I think they're out.
Really?
So what I think we have is what I call a leaner cut of love. It's maybe a slightly smaller pool, but the pool of people that are dating now, there has never been more men in the history of this country that are trying to do better, that are asking questions and doing the work and being respectful. Now, not everybody is, and I know everybody tends to fall back on the experiences, or this guy did this or people did this, but generally speaking, men are trying harder than ever before. Women now have always done the work, but they are now understanding at a higher level that maybe we do have to communicate what we need differently. Maybe we do have to rethink how we do things differently. So the people that are dating now recognize that I need to get the information, I need to do the research, and I need to assess the way I do things in order to have a better outcome. Not everybody's just like, too bad, this is the way I'm going to do it, and this is what I hope to find. No, I think the people that are dating now, at least people that come to our shows, the people that are watching right now, people that listen to our podcast, they're legitimately trying to figure out how I can improve my life, my dating, and the partners that I'm coming into contact with. And that's a really, really positive step.
I so agree with you. And now that, I didn't think about it that way until you just said it, but I have to say, in the last, I would say even past 3 months, I've been getting more and more men calling in, wanting help, wanting to better themselves, and women having a more understanding. And that is why actually I'm developing programs both for men and women. I mean, I was doing kind of like segregated, type of programs. I'm like, it's time for the boys and the girls to get in the room together, just like at the Great Love Debate, and really work on this stuff together. And that's why, like, I actually have a Flirt class coming up. I'm so excited about it. It's next Wednesday. And we are getting everybody in the room, and I'm literally teaching it as a class, but it's not just a talking head class. We are going to be interacting and practicing this stuff. And I do want to share, I have this really cool number that you can text, by the way. If you guys want to do this, you can just text me at 818-855-7989. Here, I'll just show this a little bit closer so you guys can see. 818-855-7989, and just put the word flirt in there. So if you are listening to Brian, you're listening to me, and you're saying, okay, I need to start practicing, this is a great way to get started. And I do have some room, but seats are limited, so you definitely want to hop on there. So I'll mention that again. in a bit. But anyway, so going back to you, Brian, like, I know that there was this thing that you did with cake pops.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that to me was like a perfect little rendition of what we're talking about here. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I think, a lot of people, Starbucks is a dating site.
It is.
Sorry about it.
Yes.
It is. There's people in there. It's social, or will be again. I believe you're allowed to sit down in certain Starbucks again. And if you just walk up behind whoever is in line, and don't try and cut the line, and don't tap them on the shoulder, and don't try and buy them anything, but if you walk up behind anybody in any Starbucks at any time, and you just say, should I get a cake pop? They're going to say yes. And then you're going to say, you want one? And then you're eating cake pops together. And if somebody says, when you say, should I get a cake pop? If they say no, you don't want to date that person anyway. So cake pop is 2 bites. It's like $2, and it goes a long, long way towards breaking down the walls. If you say, men, if you say that to a woman, should I get a cake pop? What you are doing is flipping this woman the keys to your nutrition and your happiness, and they really, really want that. And it's really an icebreaker. It's fun. It's like ice cream. It's like cookies. It's like candy. People are in a good mood intrinsically when you do these things. If you walk up to someone and say, hey, you want to, get a couple shots of espresso with me, it's a little aggressive at 7 o'clock in the morning. But cake pops
are
if you know
beautiful.
what a cake pop is, it's a little piece of heaven on a stick. And if you go up and don't say, would you like a cake pop? Because that's offering somebody something, a stranger something. If you say, should I get one? It's such a good icebreaker, and it's a way to sort of bring those walls down to somebody you haven't talked to before, and the cake pops will put everybody in a good mood.
That is just, I love, okay, so those of you listening, definitely like chime in. Would you answer him? Like, would you say, yes, get a cake pop? And then, because it's so, I do want a cake pop. Would you like to see
a dessert menu? Everybody wants to see a dessert menu. Yes, there's certain things that, not everything's about food, but there's certain things that naturally generate an atmosphere. And you are in control of those things. These are really, really positive things that you can do. And there's, we teach a lot of these at the Great Love Debate. If you listen to our podcast, we go over a lot of these things. But it's a way to create an environment that you are in control of for a stranger. And that's really hard to do normally. But it's if you sort of go back to these fun, playful, childlike things that we all sort of have, and the feeling of that. The feeling of what you You know all these things. And again, if you have dietary restrictions, God bless you, try and find something that is similar to that. There's things that are like, yes, I want that. People are happy eating a Twizzler. They are. Not saying it's the best thing for you, but it goes a long way.
It does. Dana's saying, you're making me hungry. That's what I see. And what also that's doing, I don't even think you realize it, but it's tapping into like a sensory thing. And that also can be super flirtatious too, because when you tap into the senses, like how somebody smells, how something tastes, how someone feels, that is another element of chemistry and flirtation. Otherwise, if you don't create that fun and that playfulness, and you do these like what I call safe questions, hey, do you come here much? Like, don't do that. Like, that's like the worst. Like, what do do you come to the Starbucks, a lot? And like that, nobody wants to answer that. That's something you read in a book.
And don't even say like, hey, can I buy that for you? Which is a mistake some people make, because then that is like, because you spent $3.75 on my caramel macchiato, I got to talk to you for 10 minutes. That puts people in an awkward too. I get it's a chivalrous gesture, and I get most of us to be like, oh, that's great. But it really puts people like, you did this for me, so I have to do that. The cake pop thing, it is fun, it is quick, it breaks down the walls, and it goes so far in just making a connection. And we need to make connections again. We haven't done, all of us are a little off. All of us are a little out of rhythm. All of us are like, when we see somebody, friend or not, it's like, what are we doing are we hugging? Are we kissing? Are we elbowing? Are we fist bumping? That's going to take a while, but understanding that we're all sort of in the same boat is a really good thing. Like, you're not the only one that just, you're not Andy Dufresne who came out of the hole in prison in Shawshank for a little while, and you're like, what's going on without me? We all went through this collective, and we're all going to find our footing quicker than you think over the next few weeks or months. And then when it's game on, I think everybody, needs to be ready to go. And by ready to go, I mean have a good attitude about it and be excited about it.
Yes. And what I also like about that, now this is different than joining in misery. What is really good is to say the elephant in the room. And I think that's what you're talking about. Like, don't pretend like this all didn't happen either when you're meeting somebody. Like, it's okay to say, okay, I feel kind of weird, like hugging you for the first time, and it feels great, and by saying that and acknowledging that, that's also like what I call the vulnerability piece and the authenticity, is that can join us. That's different than saying, oh, this year suck, right? No, just like what you're experiencing in the moment. And again, it's more feeling based. That is something that can join us. If you're feeling awkward going up to someone and talking to them, it's okay to acknowledge that, because we both are feeling awkward, right?
And if you're not comfortable approaching anybody or even being approached yet, the first step you can do is recognize the people around you. So those of us that are over, 35, and we were kids and we went on long car rides with our parents, we used to do things to pass the time like count blue cars or count brown cars, because we didn't have iPads in the backseat to entertain us. But what all of us can do, whether we're masked or not masked, is when you're out of your house and you're going to the store or you're just walking around, try and count 15 people with blue eyes or brown eyes or green eyes. Not only will you start to recognize everybody around you will start to pay attention to you. Let's look at each other. Let's make eye contact. We spend so much time trying to avoid each other and trying to not pay attention to each other that now if you're not completely comfortable with engaging with conversation or physical contact, let's at least use our eyes and put them to work. Even if you're still in a mask, you still can look at people.
Yeah.
Start to look for the eyes on other people, and those eyes start to connect with us back. That is the first step that everybody can take to break down the walls that we need to come down.
The eyes are huge. And like you said, it's not as scary. Although we have been scared. We've been scared to even look at people. Like, that's the weird part of the masks. It's been causing this, like, people like avoid each other when they're walking through the grocery store. It's such a bizarre thing. And so we do have to get used to each other again. It is part of connection and being proximity with one another, and even the light touching again. That's going to be some taking used to. Really?
If you go up to somebody who's wearing a mask and say, was that a smile? I guarantee you they're going to smile behind that mask. Like,
That's awesome. Right. Calling people out. I love it.
Yeah. I think you're smiling behind there. Like it's just having fun again with each other. We've been so, collectively down and scared and depressed and all these things, that it is time, if you're physically ready to go back out in the world, like, there's so many opportunities and so many things you can do to take advantage of what I think is a fertile dating ground. And I think that people are excited and they miss you. They miss you particularly. They miss the collective you guys. And so the next 6 months or the next, year or 18 months is going to be the time to take advantage of this and the time to really get back out there and go full speed. And I also think that maybe not everybody's really rushing to get into a group situation or a crowded bar or something like that, but one-on-one is suddenly appealing again. All of the years for the last week, we heard that everybody just wants to hang.
Oh, we lost you, Brian. I think his Wi-Fi's a little bit. What's going on over there in Florida? Maybe there's not a hurricane over there. What? You bring him back? Yeah. Well, I'll just. Oh, okay, Brian, you're back. We lost you.
Oh no.
Okay, there you go. You were on a roll too. We lost you, but we heard you say that just getting used to the one-on-one thing, and then we didn't hear you.
Yeah, well, I said that the one-on-one, like, I think people are excited to do one-on-one smaller groups. Not everybody's like, oh my God, let me go back to a club with 500 people and try and meet somebody that way. I think people are, going to ease back into it with one-on-one or small group things that we were reluctant to do for a couple of years. Everybody didn't want. A lot of people were complaining, like, nobody wants to go on a date. They just want to meet up and hang out. Well, I think now people do want to go on a date, and I think people do want to get to know each other and have conversations again and have more intimate settings. Like, and I think that's a really good development.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and I just want to say, if you're first joining in, again, my name is Kimmy Seltzer. I'm a dating strategist, confidence therapist, and image consultant. And we have Brian Howie here from the Great Love Debate, who has gone pretty much all over the world and seen what is out there with his show and when it comes to dating, relating, and love. So I have a question about mistakes. What are some of the mistakes that you're seeing people make? Like maybe in the show or just even like post-show?
That now or generally people are making mistakes. I think one of the biggest mistake, let's start with the women. I'll go ladies first. I'm not blaming the women.
Ladies first.
The women always make the mistake of saying, he can tell. He can't tell.
Oh, he can tell.
All he knows is what the last girl liked, and he probably found that out when he saw her with the new guy. He can't tell. So you have got to give him a roadmap to what it is that may.
Oh, Brian, we're losing you. We can't hear his audio. I don't know if you guys can hear him. If you can't.
You can't hear his audio?
No.
Let me see your
I think he's going to understand.
Oh, now I can hear. Yeah, now.
You got me?
Yep, I got you now.
Unstable connection.
Oh, yeah, other people can't hear either, Andy, just so you know. Okay, go ahead.
Start over?
Yeah, start. And you're saying such good things, too.
Oh, well, I was saying that it doesn't hurt to give a new man, a man that you're going out first, at least a roadmap to what it is that makes you happy or what you're looking. You know, I think that a lot of women spend a lot of time on the list of things that make them unhappy, and they have that list right there. The list of what makes you happy is not nearly as accessible, and so if you're not really sure what makes you happy, how is he going to know?
Yes.
And so think about how you can express the things you like, want, need in a fun, positive thing instead of just saying, I don't like when you do that.
Okay, sorry, Brian, we were just having some tech stuff over. I think the Wi-Fi spotty, but anyway, one of the things that you said that I think is so true too, with the signals, like he can tell. That is something I hear all the time, and ladies, they cannot tell, and I always say, like, you have to give smoke signals, right? Like, you have to hit them over the head with a bat for them to really realize that you're interested, that you like him, that you want to move on to the second date with. And because we think we're being obvious, but really, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, we're maybe at a 2, right? And so that's one of the things I always talk about in my flirt workshops is that, like, if you could crank it up to a 10, what would that look like? And women think it's like over the top, but what's over the top is normal to you guys, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. And on the guy's side, step up. I mean, the juice is worth the squeeze, guys. If she rejects you, oh well. She might have just been having a bad day. But you got to take your shot. And they want you to take your shot. They want you to approach her. They want you to ask her out. They want you to stop just having these pen pal conversations online back and forth over and over and over. They want to take it to the next step. They want to go offline. And you're going to have to do that. And if she's just like, no, I'm not interested, oh, well, then that's not the girl for you. So find somebody else, you know? It's not necessarily even personal. It's just that's the way it is in the moment, and you have to keep going. For both sides, it only takes one. It only takes one. And, you know, and that one could be the next one, and stop worrying about the last one, you know, and you just keep moving forward, and your answer is out there. Every city, everywhere, there are possibilities every single day of your life, and you just got to find them.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is so important in relation to how we feel about ourselves, right? This all goes back to us. And again, this is where the work goes into it, and the empowerment is that when you love yourself, when you're confident within yourself, those rejections or whatever your perceived rejections are won't be a rejection. It would just be like, oh, okay, well, that's not my person and that's not my business. I'll try it with somebody else, because you'll be so solid with who you are. And so if every rejection is a blow to you and your self-esteem, it's more looking at, well, what is that about for you, and how can you build yourself up so that doesn't happen? And one of the ways of doing that is to put yourself into practice, because the more you do it and the more you get rejected, it does not become such a big deal anymore. And the right people will then still come and chime in and connect with you.
Yeah, it's not your fault they have bad taste.
Right.
That's the way I would look at it.
Right, exactly.
They have bad taste. That's why they didn't like me. Nothing I can do about it. You know? I think that's the way you can look at it.
Yeah, it's not
they didn't appreciate me, or they didn't. No, they just had bad taste.
Right. Yeah. And that might sound like really harsh for a lot of my women who I work with, they're caretakers. They worry about like how other people see them and view them, and they're people pleasers, and they're like, oh, I could never think like that, you know? But my thing is, maybe you should, right? Like maybe it is time to think like what you just said. So I really like that. Yeah.
And they don't recognize that. That's their problem. Move on.
Their problem next. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I would say, so you kind of got on both mistakes for men and women, but are there particular things that men do that you would say is a bigger mistake that men do?
A bigger mistake that men do than women do?
Yeah, because we started with the women, and then we kind of, I mean, I know what I see, but
they become too passive. You know, the men have taken a full step back. We've both taken, you know, and we both sides, if we're talking, you know, men and women, and we could do this any way you want, need to take a half step back towards each other. And the men need to do that. The men need to step up. She's not crazy. She's not this. She's not that. She's just a little more complicated than you are. And your job's to figure that out. And you have to show an interest in her. And you have to try and find out about her. And you have to not make assumptions about her. And you're going to have to learn her. And that's worth it if you put in the time. And she really will appreciate all of these things if you do it. And I think she wants you to do it. And there are ways men, you know, you hear the same things all the time, that they want this kind of guy and this kind of guy, and they want everybody to be funny and all that kind of stuff. You need to do things to make yourself more interesting. Now, I'm not saying you can make yourself more charming, and you can't not necessarily make yourself smarter, and you can't make yourself taller, and you may even make yourself funnier. But you know what? Take up the guitar, learn Chinese, do a lot of things. There's a lot of things you can do that give yourself a lot more layers than you have now. You know, if your layers are just like putting on the Pittsburgh Steelers jersey and on Sundays, and that you think that gives you character layers? No, learn to cook, take a class, learn to dance, do things to self-improve. The women want to know that you are doing the work and that you are evolving. She can work with you as long as you're going in a positive direction. Okay? As long as you can, I'm doing this, I'm working on this, I'm exploring this, I'm volunteering every other Saturday. All of these things are going to make you seem more interesting and seem like you have a lot more things going on. And they're things that everybody can do. And all the guys can do these things.
And please do not wear the Pittsburgh jersey. Like, can we just talk about the fact? And by the way,
if you're a Pittsburgh fan, don't wear a Pittsburgh jersey.
Oh my God, just don't wear a jersey. Like, period. Like, when it comes to your dating image, like, that is the worst. And please, if you're listening and you're watching and you're a man or a woman, whatever it is, like, stay on, because I have some fashion tips that you can start with buying some things right here on Amazon. Right? Like, to your point, you could take up Chinese, you could take up guitar, and you could buy like a nice button-down shirt, right? And get a really different impression. And, you know, you and I both talk about this a lot, is that first impressions are huge when it comes to this stuff. I mean, look at the Great Love Debate, you know? Like, I love one of the things that you do where you pick somebody out in the audience, and a guy, and say, go ask the prettiest woman or somebody that you really want to say hello to, and just go do it.
Yeah, I go, find the prettiest girl in the room and go introduce yourself. And for some guys, that is like walking a tightrope over Grand Canyon.
Right.
Like, he's just like, oh my, and I'm not asking him to even ask her out. I'm just saying, go introduce yourself. And the women are all, and I pick a guy who's shy and awkward and something like that. And all of the women are secretly hoping that this guy comes over and picks her out of the room as the prettiest one. And all he's doing is walking over and shaking. And some guys, this might take 20 minutes for them to and it's not that they're trying to figure out the prettiest one. They're trying to figure out, oh my God, can I do this? And then once they do this, it's very liberating for them. It's very exciting for the women. They want to be chosen. They want to be picked out of this room full of people. And it's a really good exercise for everybody to do, that we should be able to say hello to anybody. at any time, and have it not be like this referendum on who we are as people. So all I say is go up and just introduce yourself, and it goes so far. We used to have to do that.
I know, before computers.
We used to have to make a move of some kind. We used to have to say hello. We used to have to come up with a clever way to compliment her and not just be like, ooh, you're hot. You know, we used to have to do it. We used to have to ask girl, not we, but another generation before, they used to have to ask the girl to dance, and they had to dance with her. So if now you think that's too hard, it's just to say hello, well, you're gonna have to rethink that, because it's not too hard and you can do it, and she wants you to do it.
Well, and here's the beauty after coming out of being just cooped up or just dating online for so long, is that I think that effect that you're just talking about, people, it's like relearning something in a whole different way. People are wanting to say hello again and learning how to just go up to a stranger and connect. So I actually think there's a lot of hope with what you said. And another thing that I've been seeing, to your point, is that people are courting again. Like, it's almost like going back to the ages of our grandparents, where there's this new, like, slow dating that's happening now. With a caveat, I do think that we're going to have a spring break effect come up, where I think it's going to, like, Girls Gone Wild and boys will be bad, because I think everyone's going crazy. But then I think we'll recalibrate, go back to the middle, and I still think we're doing that, like, slower dating after that.
Yeah,
you agree?
I think you're right.
Yeah, the wet t-shirt contest. I don't know. Like, this could
be. Come back.
It's all gonna come back.
And then we'll you know, get that out of the way, and then we will recalibrate. And I think we also we had a double whammy. We also had a extremely contentious election cycle. No matter where you fall on that spectrum, it was still stressful for a lot of people. Yeah. So we had a double whammy of an 18-month period. I think people are gonna, you know, get over to the other side of it and hopefully have a little better outlook and have a little more positivity and really appreciate just being around somebody again. That's the first step, and that goes so far. We've done, you know, we haven't done as many as we normally do, but we have done some live great love debate shows in the last 6 months in certain places that are a little more open than certain other places. And we have never had more enthusiastic people who just happy to be in a theater or a comedy club or a venue with other people, and they're so positive and they're so excited to meet again. And hopefully during the last year, if you were in a relationship, you realized that you didn't like that person and you got rid of them, spending too much time with them over the last, you know, that's a big step too. It's not just getting into the right relationship, it's getting out of the wrong one. And if you can get out of the wrong one, you can get yourself into the right one a lot quicker.
Oh, yeah. And I think with that, there's so much gratitude, to your point. There's gratitude being away from someone, and there's gratitude being amongst humans again. You know, so either way, there is that, like, a sense of gratitude. So if you are just tuning in, by the way, I just want to alert you to click the follow button. I don't know how much longer this smart guy is going to be here. So if you want to ask him some questions, I actually want to throw out a question for people who are on here, because it's so funny. Brian, you can't see, but there's a lot of people on here, and everyone's, I think, just like listening, and I always like putting people into action. So I want to, like, challenge you who are listening. What are some of the fears that are coming up about getting back out there in real life? If you have a fear, I want to hear that in the chat. Like, come clean, come strong, because probably your fears are everybody else's. But I don't know, like, maybe we'll just start with what you're saying, Brian. Are you hearing people being fearful in different ways? And I can share some.
I heard people like, oh, I'm not ready to go back out there because I gained 20 pounds in the last year.
I'm not ready, yes. Yeah.
We all gained 20 pounds in the last year, so we're grading each other on the curve now. So you're not going to you know, get back into shape by sitting in your house. Get back out, get active, get in motion, and get your positive energy back. That's a good way to make yourself at least feel a little bit healthier and feel a little bit more excited about doing that. But don't be hard on yourself. You know, I mean, I get that a lot of people haven't put on a pair of pants in a long time. You'll get excited about getting dressed again. You know?
Yes. And that's what I'm really excited to talk about, because I was looking at the fashions that are coming back in the spring and summer, and it's like there's some outlandish things happening, like bold colors and like mixing things and high platforms and really like high white boots and short baby doll dresses, and like it's just like we want to like be seen again, you know, in a whole different way. And I think just learning to embrace that, and I feel like that's one of the first things we can all
like
do.
a Christmas ornament, and you'll be just fine.
Right. Hey, I'm kind of dressed that way. I
Yeah,
wore
red. We're gonna
wore-
notice red.
Yes.
Stop wearing black, ladies. Wear black once you're in the relationship. Don't wear black to get in the relationship because guys don't notice it. It's an unapproachable color. You wear bright yellow.
Thank you, and I'm really glad that you like mentioned that, because I say this on every show. I'm hounding everybody to get a red piece, you know, and it's very easy. It could be red lipstick. It could be, oh my God, wait, Brian, look at, did you see? I have red shoes.
Yeah, red shoes.
I have red shoes.
Yellow, bright colors make you noticeable. Like it just is. You see people, you know, we went so long trying to not notice each other. You want people to notice you now. So I get that you think you look cool and sleek and sexy in black, and you probably do. We might not notice you, or black also says, get away from me.
Yes, or I'm hiding. Now, I think black can be really like sexy in some ways, but you
After
can.
he asks you out, wear black on the date.
Yes.
You don't need anybody to approach you then.
Right. So as a man, okay, so because I, you know, again, I preach this, but it's different than when you are the man speaking. Like when you see a woman in, say, a red dress or like a pink shirt or something bright, like what do you think about? Like what do you notice about her? What do you think about her when you see those bright colors?
I think she has playful energy. I think she's fun. I think she's exciting. I think it's romantic. It's fun. You know, people always talk about, oh, the girl in the little black dress. No, when you think about the famous movie characters, they're wearing a color or a pattern that is memorable and noticeable. You know, I happened to watch La La Land again on the plane the other day. They could not have lit Emma Stone many more different ways, and they could not have put her in more colorful things. And that made her pop on the screen the same way it makes you pop in real life. You know, the old pop of color, well, that goes a long, long way towards getting people's attention. And if you're saying, well, I don't want people's attention, you got to rethink that mindset too.
Yes. Yes. And there's a lot of research, and I've been talking about this a lot. Like, it's not just something that's subjective. They actually did studies with men and red, and they found that that there was like a primal component to it, that men are attracted to red because of the color of fertility. Isn't that like, it's interesting? So they had a study where the same woman wore a red shirt on Tinder, and then she wore a blue shirt, and 100% of 100 men clicked on the red shirt. So ladies, this is the time to redo your profile, to get new pictures done, and get an item that is red. And I'll show you some later on if you stay tuned for more. But yeah, no, that's
shoes fun. That's a fun colored shoe. I would talk to the girl in the red shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And even if you're wearing like all black and then you just pop the red, then it shows that you have that confidence too to wear that. But here's the thing. I think a lot of people lack the confidence. So that's why you need to go to like the Great Love Debate, or you need to come to my Flirt class, or you need to buy a new like red shoe to just start getting used to yourself, so that you don't like just get in your head and get shy about getting the attention. Because that's what I hear from women a lot. They say, I don't like the attention. Like, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I know. Get used to being noticed. Get comfortable with it. You know, as we record this right now, I'm in a glass studio. There's about 60 people in a restaurant outside watching me do this.
Oh my gosh.
Part of me's like, ooh, it's a little uncomfortable. Part of me is like, enjoy the view, people.
Yeah.
You know, and we all
like
have
flash them.
We gotta balance this. If you know, we are sort of in a look at me culture. You have to balance how that is in your dating life. If you don't want to be noticed by every single person, then figure out how you can be noticed by the right person. And Kim can help you with that.
Oh, well, thank you, Brian, Howie. Well, you know what's so funny is that if you think about it, we have been hiding in the computer, because in a way that's hiding. Like, it's super easy to get a really cute filter and just post a picture up of you. than to really be in real life and have people look at you. And that's another fear that I've heard a lot of people say, is that like they're worried about what other people think or feel. Like they're worried about what they're fearing and not enough about what they want and doing. So that's another thing. Yeah.
Oddly, Zoom has been helpful for dating, not in the way you think it has. It hasn't been helpful in terms of people having Zoom dates. What it's been helpful of is getting people used to having a group of people looking at you at one time while you're speaking. Okay, people are not, you had to do these work calls for Zoom. It's sort of like you had to be on television. You might not have the big audience, but it was the same kind of thing. You are on camera, people are assessing you that way, and that is an experience that a lot of people have not had before, that sort of shook up people's comfort zones, but most people are used to that now. And that should translate over into real life, where you're comfortable speaking to a group of people, or you're comfortable with a group of people watching you while you speak. And that's the added benefit of the things that we went through last year.
Yes, that is so true. Well, in theory, you would think that people would be used to that, but I think people now have to get used to like seeing each other from the waist down now. Like, it's like, oh, it's the whole person. It's the 3D version, you know? And that's the thing too, is that I think, even like to your point about the Zoom dating, I think that's here to stay. I think that once we kind of get all this real life stuff out of the system, the recalibration will be, I think there was a lot of value in getting to know someone before just going out and meeting with them. And so I think it's good to be used to and be confident in all these different modalities, in texting, in a phone. Oh my God, can we just talk about a phone conversation? Has been like the millennials didn't know what to do with that. Like they were, because when they couldn't like rely on just the swiping in the meeting, they were like, I don't know how to talk on the phone.
Yeah, we've had to do a lot of things differently, some good, some bad, but you know, you should have more skills and a little more arrows in your quiver, so to speak, to get back out there. And the most important one you can have is hope. And if you are hopeful that you can meet somebody, or that you will meet somebody, or at least you will just have a good time out in the world, that is going to be contagious to a lot of people in a good way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Brian, I know that, I mean, you've been so generous with your time, and I didn't know if there were any like kind of last fun stories that you have, and also we'll talk about like, you know, how people can find you and everything, but I will share one of my funny stories about the Great Love Debate. And I just remember actually being in the audience. It was one of the shows that you had here in LA. And I'll never forget, you had this woman stand up and she read a profile, and then she said that she would never just go up to a person without reading a profile first. Do you remember this one? It was like in Hollywood. You're like, you mean like you wouldn't actually just go and say hi to someone? She's like, no, that's weird. I have to see the information first before I say hi. And it's like, oh my God, what has happened to us?
That is what's happened. That's a good point on the profile. So a lot of people do very, very badly with their profiles. They either give too much information or too little information, or the wrong information. First thing is, you should not bring any negativity to your profile. You shouldn't put it on there, no matter how you feel about it. Don't put something like "no Trumpers" on your profile. It's just negative. Save that for the dates. Whatever it is, no jerks, don't lead with the negative. But all of your profiles, if they follow this formula, you're at least going to increase your engagement number. And all you're really trying to do is to cast a net out there and try and catch as many people that are interested as possible. And we call this 3-2-1. All of your profiles should follow this formula. 3-2-1, or in terms of whatever ratio, depending on the platform you are on. All of your profiles should have 3 things you want them to find out about you, 2 things you hope to find in them, and 1 thing you hope to find together. Okay? 3 things. So I am this, this, and this. I'm looking for this, and let's run around the world. Okay? 3, 2, 1. You're keeping it to 6 pieces of information, a little bit about you, a little bit about them, and a little bit of what you hope for in a relationship, and that will get your increased, at least engagements over just about anything you can do online.
I love that, and I also believe in the same type of formula, and I've been telling people about that too, because people are either too focused on them, or the other 2 mistakes that I see people make is that they'll do a laundry list instead of like a storytelling snippet. They'll do, I like to travel, I like to read, I like to camp. Like how many profiles have you read that have those lists? Like it doesn't mean anything, but saying that my favorite place to visit is X, Y, and Z, and I love eating paella and drinking wine on a Saturday afternoon, like that's more interesting, and it has a little story that people can talk about.
Yeah. One caveat to that, guys. One of your 3 things must be some variation on I absolutely love dogs. Okay?
But what if you don't?
You at least got their interest. And if you don't love dogs, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem.
Do you think a guy should rent a dog and have a picture of him and the dog? In the picture?
You don't have to rent a dog, but feel free to pick up a strange dog. It doesn't mean that you have to have a dog. It means you have to be open to dogs.
Open to
That's
dog.
not 100%. That's not always going to work 100% of the time because not everybody wants a dog, but a vast majority of women are looking for a guy who's at least friendly to dogs.
Yes, that is very, very true. And actually, there's been studies on that. When a guy has a picture of a dog in it, he'll get more action and
Get rid of
clicks.
the fish, pick up the dog.
Yeah. Although, do you know in certain parts of the country, I had a client, and she said every guy had a picture of him with a fish. But that's because they lived in an area where that was the lifestyle. The fish is
Well, they say that, and they also say guys didn't used to have a lot of pictures other than pictures of accomplishment, which is what the fish was. That's not an excuse anymore in 2021. Put the fish down.
Hey, if he looks good though, holding the fish, I'm okay with that. Like if he has a good outfit on and the focus is more on him.
He doesn't have a good outfit on. He just went fishing.
I know. Like if it
tuxedo holding a fish.
Right. And I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you are only as good as your worst picture every single time. So like if you look really bad holding that fish, just don't put it in it. We don't care that you can catch fish.
Everybody work on their fish pose. Yeah.
Brian, Howie, where can everyone find you? What shows do you have coming up? Like what is going on?
Well, you can listen to our podcast first and foremost. We just did our 300th episode like a week or 2 ago. The Great Love Debate podcast with Brian Howie. You can find that on all the platforms. And you can go to greatlovedebate.com and you can check out our live tour schedule. Live with real people. Our next show is June 6th at Side Splitters Comedy Club in Tampa, Florida. You can always road trip it to Tampa. It's a fun time and the weather's nice. And keep checking out because we're adding a whole bunch of new shows because the lights are coming back on. A lot of our favorite cities and venues will be in New York and Nashville and Boston and Cleveland and a whole bunch of places. But come to Tampa, go to greatlovedebate.com and check out our podcast.
Brian Howie, it was a pleasure. I mean, we could go on and on here, and I'm for sure we'll have you back if you would grace us with coming back
I
again.
shall grace you. With my fish pick.
The fish pick. Yeah, maybe we'll bring some fish picks next time and show like the good ones and the bad ones. All right. Well, thank you for spending for you, it's Saturday evening with us.
Yes.
And yeah, I'll see you soon.
All right. We'll see you soon. Stay safe, everybody.
Bye. Oh my gosh. Well, I love Brian. I love him, and he's a smart guy, right? Like, and so many of the things that he talks about and that he shares, I believe is true. And what I loved about Great Love Debate when I was a co-host and even just like talking with Brian on his podcast is that, you know, so much of ways that people can like really shift in their dating life is to put you into action. That's what his shows do. Like you sign up for a show thinking you're going to be a passenger, but you end up being right there forefront as a driver because he makes everyone interact in the show. And when I was hosting, like we would go into the audience and we ask questions and we make them stand up and talk to each other. And that's what this is all about, you know? And if you're thinking about getting back out there and you don't know where to start, I do want to remind you and mention, if you're just tuning in, again, my name is Kimmy Seltzer. I'm a dating strategist, confidence therapist, and image consultant. And one of the things that I love teaching, and it's just really timely as we talk about getting back out there, is flirting. So again, like that could be a whole, another show, and maybe after my class that I have next Wednesday, I will probably do a whole class a whole show on flirting. And here's the thing about flirting that a lot of people find surprising. Like when you think about flirting, a lot of times people have these associations with it. It raises a lot of eyebrows. They're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of feelings that are attached to it. And a lot of it has to do with fear. But the truth of the matter is when you look at the definition of flirting, it is to behave as though you are attracted to someone without the serious intention of an outcome. That last part, without the serious intention of an outcome, is the most important part, because most people are attached to the outcome. Oh, I can't come up to him because I don't want to give him the wrong impression, or, oh, I don't think I'm very good at flirting, or I'm not really attracted to him, so I don't want to give him the wrong impression. I'm not, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough. Like all these things that swim in our head. But really the reality is about being playful, as Brian was talking about the cake pop. Like that's playful. That is a flirtation. Most people think that that's just being, friendly, but you can start with that, friendliness and move it into something that is more flirtatious. And that is the thing that I really like to teach people, because there is a difference between being just friendly and being flirty. And so if you are just tuning in and you didn't hear me talk about my ultimate flirt class, I wanted to share how you can enter that. Obviously, you can find me all over the place. Every social media is at Kimmy Seltzer. You can slide into my DMs. You can get a hold of me that way. But I do have a special number now, because people were saying, Kimmy, I never know how to get a hold of you, especially on these shows. You can just text me, 818-855-7989, and put in the code FLIRT, and you'll get more information about my flirt class. Again, it's 818-855-7989. Just text that and type in the word FLIRT, and I will get you more information on how you can sign up. But seats are limited, and it is for men and women, so just, sign up so that we can get you a seat. All right, well, I want to move into the next portion, and I always finish up the show by sharing some of the spring trends. And actually, as we head into each season, there are trends that happen. And again, there is a difference between fashion and style. I'm all about style. Style is something that is everlasting. Fashion are things that come and go, and I believe that you can take things that are fashionable and make it your own style. What I mean by that is that there's a difference between just throwing some cookie cutter stuff on that is trending but might not look very good on you versus getting something that is cut for your body type, that is date worthy, and something that you can feel really confident in. Because here's the thing. Most people don't think about their clothes in relation to how other people find them, especially when it comes to attraction. And one of my babies, my jam, is to help people get dating outfits. I do these virtual makeovers where I hop on to a Zoom call and I have a virtual closet and I put together different looks. And I don't know if any of you were here when I did the Closet Ambush episodes, and they were super popular and fun. That was just, kind of a sample of the things that I do with other people. And now that the world and the stores are opening up, I am doing shopping sprees again. So if anyone's interested in getting just a whole new wardrobe and you're just tired from all the sweats that you've been having in your wardrobe, just get in contact with me and we can figure it out. I'm here in LA, but we can do things virtually, but we can also do things here. So let's go over what is trending and what's in fashion. And I want to show, and again, I so love Amazon because it's funny, I'll read and, obviously I study the things that are in style right now. And I, before, always thought that you had to go to the stores that sell different brands. I am blown away how many brands that are right here on Amazon. It is a one-stop shop. You do not have to go even to anywhere else and get even your favorite brand. I bought a pair of Stuart Weitzman boots, and I was shocked to find on here. I had showed these earlier on. This was more of a winter boot. And I do have a new boot that I want to share with you that's in style. So ladies, drum roll. Can you believe, I just read this hot off the press. Guess what is in for spring, summer now? High knee boots in white high knee boots. OMG. So I want to show you a pair of these that I found, and these are super cute. So I don't know, like I love the name of them. It's Phantasma by Pleaser Women's Go-Go. So that's what this reminds me of, like the Go-Go boots. They are back in style, and what I'm seeing and what a lot of people are seeing them paired with are these baby doll dresses. And I do have a baby doll dress that I'll show you as well. But I'm sorry, like even if men are listening to this, like what man wouldn't like to see a woman in a white boot like this? Like these are hot. And what I love about this in particular is that the heel on here, I think would be super comfortable because it's a chunky heel. So if you're the kind of person who